Okay, so let's pick up where we left off from outside. So what we talked about outside was we could break this garden box down into dimensions of x, and then to take into account the width of the boards, the other length would be x plus 3. Okay, and all that would leave then is whatever the height of the garden box is going to be. So those are the three dimensions that go into volume, right? And if we think about just the equation for volume, well, volume is the area of the base times the height. Okay, and this is for volume of a rectangular prism here. So area of the base times the height. If we break that down a little bit further, the area of the base, if it's a rectangle, is the base times the height of the rectangle times the height of the overall prism. Okay, so you're really talking about base times height. That's your base, the rectangle, times the height of the actual prism. All right, well, we know two of those dimensions. We know that your base is x, your height is x plus 3. We don't know an expression for our height. And that's where we can kind of start to work. Now, like I said, I was able to kind of come up with a polynomial to represent the volume. And what I got was this: x cubed minus 6x squared minus 27x. So that expression represents my volume. And then here I have x times x plus 3 times the height, right? Okay, this is where I'm going to pretty much leave you. So you have to think back to what you did in the last problem set on Khan Academy yesterday. And when you're talking about factors, right? Because ultimately, if we're trying to solve for h, you're going to have to divide out the x. And that's going to be fairly easy for you to do there, right? And then you'll be left with this and some polynomial there. You're going to do that using you're going to get that after you divide out the x. And then the last thing, we would also have to divide by the x plus 3, whatever you got after dividing by x. So when you break it down by each of those factors, the third factor that you're going to have left after your synthetic division is going to represent the height of that garden box. So that is your challenge. Now, as a bonus, okay, so you're going to work that through using synthetic division. Okay, we'll really divide out your x first, and then use synthetic division to divide whatever you have left by x plus 3. That's going to give you the height. That's the problem I want you to work on. Okay, as a bonus, I want you to take a look at the graph of this equation. Okay, and I'll show it to you on my graph just so when you take a look at it, you can see if you're kind of on the right idea. And again, try that app out that I have listed on, oh, that's me again, hello. That I have listed on the Google Classroom. And you can get one of these graphing calculators onto your phone, and it works pretty good. I've played with it a little bit. Okay, but that's approximately, well, actually that's exactly what your graph should look like. So the bonus question on this one then is, after you have found the polynomial representing the height of that garden box, I want you to graph the volume. So this is a graph of the volume. And then just talk to me a little bit about what you see. So this is kind of leading us into what we're going to be doing next week. But talk a little bit about what you see in terms of the graph, if there's any relationship to the exponents, kind of how it begins, how it ends, if there's max, mins. Just give me a little bit of something about the graph of this as well. Okay, so first part of the problem, go ahead, just do the math, divide by x, divide whatever you get there by x plus 3 using synthetic division. And then as a bonus, go ahead and graph that volume equation and just talk to me about it, basically. Tell me what you see. All right, guys, I hope this one finds you well. If you have questions, feel free to email me or respond on Classroom. I think I've been pretty good about checking the different places to get back to everybody, but email for sure. I know I'm on top of that one. And